When searching for a place to live, consider options both in a city and outside of an urban area where rentals are more cost efficient. Remember to consider commuting costs to get to and from your destinations if you're living outside of that area. Off-campus and commuter student services is located on the third floor of the Student Union in Suite 315. Our team includes Assistant Director Ashley O'Connell and our Programming Assistant Bianca Horvath. For outreach or questions to our office, please call 860-486-8006 or email us at offcampus@uconn.edu. Our office hosts a web-based housing database which can be found at offcampushousing.uconn.edu. Through this site, a user can search for off-campus housing close to all of our campus locations such as Storrs, Stanford, Avery Point, Waterbury, Hartford, and the UConn Law School. There is also a roommate matching feature. We partner with CoStar, who owns a number of rental search sites such as Apartments.com and ForRent.com. If your search takes you outside of the UConn system and possibly out of the state of Connecticut, please consider using one of these reputable sites for your search. Within each search engine you choose, there's a virtual tool which allows the user to explore properties remotely. The virtual search tool provides information you need to experience your community remotely. It is becoming more commonplace to search and explore properties virtually than it is to visit and tour in person. Nationally, 53% of people searching for a rental are doing so by using a virtual tour tool, and 63% of current renters have found their new home via a virtual tour. If you have the chance to tour a property in person, you should consider it, as there are aspects that may not be covered in a virtual tour, which we will discuss later. Let's start locally. If you plan to stick around for a graduate degree or are planning to move to Connecticut to one of our Connecticut schools, our team can assist with all UConn campus housing options at all of our professional and regional schools. Are you the next renter? The next series of slides will review things you should consider when beginning your search. When to start searching for a place to live depends on you. Your timeline to start a new job or transitioning to a new university or college will drive when you start your search. You should begin to look for an apartment approximately 3 to 4 months in advance when possible. Pricing may fluctuate and is based on supply and demand. Try to avoid the high rental seasons such as April through September. It's always useful to develop a checklist to guide your decision making when choosing a rental. This rubric is designed to help you develop a list of important features you will need or want in your next rental. Location, cost, and amenities are a few examples of things to consider when searching for a rental. This rubric is available on our website at offcampus.uconn.edu. In addition to cost, location can be one of the most important things to consider when searching. Are there particular points of interest you wish to consider or be near, such as a park which you can jog in or walk your dog? Do you want to be within walking distance of work or school? Will you rely on public transportation? As a reference, it's good to compare housing costs at your current location with other large cities. For example, Storrs, Connecticut is 35.1% less expensive than New York. Storrs is 31.3% less expensive than Boston. And Storrs is 5.3% more expensive than Chicago. Explore all of your options as you prepare to move. Commuting. At some point, we all have to get to and from our place of work as a professional or as a student. Typically, there are costs associated with commuting, whether you're driving your car, which requires gas, tolls, and possible parking fees, or if you're taking public transportation, there are costs associated with commuting. Here are some examples in Boston and New York City on various public transit expenses. Explore your next destination and the cost of public transportation in that city.
When looking for an apartment, you need to have the following: recommendation letters or proof of funds, and additional financial statements. You need time to tour the area and the apartment to make sure you feel comfortable with the rental as well as the neighborhood. Be prepared to rent the apartment if it is the one you desire, since depending on the market, it might not be available for long. When signing a lease, you need to do the following: stop and read all of the contract you are agreeing to. Inquire about any and all questions before signing documents. Get copies of everything. You should keep your own records and copies of all pages of everything you reviewed. No signature should be signed unless you are 100% positive on the rental and all that the lease entails. It is important to understand that once signed, a lease is a legally binding document. What is a lease agreement? A lease agreement consists of many components: deposits and fees, terms of tenancy, limits of occupancy, pets, rent, and utilities. These are all things that you need to consider before signing your lease and agreeing to any of the lease terms. No matter the type of lease, it is a legally binding document. There are many lease types, and depending on the location of your rental, they will vary. In rural areas such as around Yukon stores, we typically see the standard 9 to 12 month lease. Other leases, such as rent-stabilized leases and rent-controlled leases, are often found in city units. Condo leases are also a possibility. Condominium leases or co-op leases are often found in city living. Be sure to understand what kind of lease you are agreeing to before signing it. When starting your search, be sure to utilize online reviews. These will give you the personal opinion of current and past tenants of that rental. Online reviews do not always adequately reflect the true experience of living at these properties, so if there is a place that you are interested in, do not simply rule it out only based on online reviews. Budgeting and understanding your expenses is one of the key aspects in apartment searching. You need to understand what you can afford monthly with rent, utilities, and other life bills, while still having enough to pay for your lifestyle or other emergencies that might pop up. Having a personal budget and getting on track with your spending is one of the most important parts of being a responsible tenant. When you are applying to live in a rental, you will likely be asked to show some sort of proof of income. This is the owner or management's way of assuring that you have proper finances to pay your rent monthly without any issues. Proof of income can be a pay stub, bank statements, proof of income letter, or offer letter from your new employer. One of these might suffice, or they could request multiple proofs and still possibly a cosigner, depending on your income amount. A rental calculator is one of the simplest yet most helpful tools when looking at your rental and monthly budget. These calculators can be used to determine the split cost of a unit amongst roommates, to the division of bills, and more. This tool is available at splitwise.com and other online rental websites. Roommates. Be prepared to have one. Having a roommate helps you reduce your monthly bill significantly. You can divide utilities, rent, and much more with a roommate. Be sure to determine if you need a roommate or if you can financially sustain your own place without the help of anyone else. Having a roommate might not always be desired, but it also can provide companionship in your new place. Things to consider when having a roommate are your lifestyle preferences. This can include cleanliness, sharing belongings, and privacy. Be sure to have open and honest discussions when meeting with possible roommates, and utilize online roommate matching systems to help you find the right roommate. Whether you rent a room, apartment, or house, Off-Campus and Commuter Student Services recommends investing in a renter's insurance policy. It costs as little as $100 a year and covers your personal belongings in the case of theft and/or damage. It provides liability coverage in the event someone is injured, either in your rental or on the property where your rental is located. It is important that you feel just as comfortable with the outside of your rental as you do the inside. Be sure to go back and take a tour of the area at night. Be sure that there is adequate lighting, that your parking space or bus stop are located in a location that you feel comfortable walking from, and do not hesitate to speak with the current residents about their experience living in that rental. They will give you an honest opinion, and it might even give you the opportunity to make a neighborly friend if you are planning on living there.
Moving out and finding an apartment is a personal yet exciting decision. Timing, job prospects, and rental availability are just some factors to consider when apartment searching. Once you find the right place to live, it can be a fun and rewarding experience. Taking the time to determine the right path in life is important, but do not hesitate to step out of your comfort zone and create new experiences. Oftentimes, unplanned decisions create the best memories. We hope this presentation leads you to the perfect place to call your own.
If you have any questions regarding this presentation, please contact our office at offcampus@uconn.edu. We thank you for joining us, and go Huskies!